So this is it's kind of a tough one to make again. I got a call from my old coaches. Hold on a second. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Oh, it's been a hard week. I got a call from my high school pole vault coach's kid, young son. He's not so young anymore. He's in his 20s, maybe even 30s. And I didn't pick it up. We were putting the kids down. And then when the kids got put down, I got a call or a private message from his older son saying that his dad doesn't have much longer. And he's been fighting cancer for 7 years. And so I asked if I could come see him, and I didn't want to intrude because my dad died a year and a half ago, and I remember just feeling like I wanted to keep everything nice and tight and close and not let anyone in and be like, I'm not. It just that's how we felt. So I asked if I could come see him, and he got in there, and he goes, "Yeah, if I was there all day today, but if you wanna, you got to come over. You got to come tomorrow." Because he's going quick. He doesn't have much longer, like days maybe. So I was like, absolutely, I'll be there tomorrow. And this was on Saturday. And so I drove over there. and I was totally expecting just to spend maybe half hour there. Kind of say my goodbyes and check in with the family and then take off. And I got there and it just reminded me of my dad, the heavy breathing, everything kind of locked in, able to respond but not talk very well and things like that. And it was heavy. It was heavy. And then his family gave me a big hug, and Haesly's wife said, "He really loves you. He loves you. He loves you like a son." Oh, and that hit me. And I said, I loved him. I love him like a father, which is true. And I think I ended up staying 3 hours there. I just couldn't leave. I kind of held his hand. They said it helps to share some stories, so I shared some stories with him. Didn't know how much longer he had. Didn't know if he heard me. I feel like he could, but I was there, and and then I guess Haesly's kind of a planner, right? So even in November, I came out with these bracelets for people who have punched their wings. Official pole vaulter, I called them wristbands, and he bought a bunch of them. He got a bunch of them. I was trying to give him stuff for free, and he would never let me. No, I'm buying. I want to support what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And so he had these wristbands for his kids, so he could give them to him pole vaulting this year. And all through this process, he kept coaching. He kept coaching, and I cried about this. I cried about this last couple days. I feel like I'm doing a little better, so if I break down, I apologize. It's strange. I've said this when my dad died, right? I said it felt like there was a safety net that was pulled away that I didn't even realize was there. And this is the same kind of thing. And so the next day, Sunday, I got a message from his older son that said his dad died. He waited for him to show up. He couldn't make it on Saturday, and he showed up, held his hand, and told him, "Dad, you can go. You can go. You don't have to wait around anymore." And within 10 seconds, he passed away. And to me, that's That's powerful, man. And so for that safety net idea, I didn't. It feels selfish saying this in a way, but man, it fucking hurts. Like, I really love Haesly. I did a podcast with him, one of the early ones on here. I want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him more. And he was in remission on his cancer, and I thought, oh man, it'd be kind of cool to just see where your mental perspective is, and to see, like, if you match the 8 common regrets that people have when they're facing death. And I want to see if he had any of those and if it changed his perspective on it. And he sat in this room right where I'm sitting. We put the desk together and we had a conversation, and we filmed that one. And I'm so happy I did that. And what's crazy is, like, I feel like I'm talking to myself here. Like, if you guys didn't know this guy, it's crazy that I keep saying, and I keep thinking, like, I need to write a post about this and put it in the Team Hoot stuff, because Team Hoot wouldn't exist without him. My first year pole vaulting, I had a high school kid who was on the team the year before trying to coach pole vault, and it was frustrating, and I was like, I don't know if I want to come back for this. This is terrible. And then next year, Haesly was hired, and I was in such a space where I didn't really have a community. I didn't have a place. I didn't have, like, I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. But I tried this crazy sport because I thought, man, it would be cool just to be able to do that once, you know? And I do a lot of things that way. Like, I want to see if I can do that. And so that second year I came out, and he was a coach, and he gave us these binders, and on the cover it said, "The sky's the limit." And inside of it was a folder, actually. Inside of the folder there was diagrams of pole vaulters, and there were drills, and there were, like, quotes that he had, and all sorts of really beautiful, cool things in there. And I just remember opening it like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, you know. It was like, whoa, and it was like glowing, like, this is the answer. This is like a pole vault Bible here. And this is pre-internet, right? This is like, well, it's not pre-internet, but 2002. And so if you wanted to download an image or open an image, it would take like fucking 30 minutes just to get it, you know? So he got all this stuff from all over the place and collected it, and was like trying to figure the sport out, and he collected all this, and everything was so much harder to find. So when he gave it to us, it was like fucking Indiana Jones, you know, where he looked at the thing, it was like glowing light all over you. And he instilled in us that, like, the sky is the limit. That was, when I think of Haesly, that was what he said the most. And I think about that a lot. I think about that all the time. And we had such a cool relationship to the point where he created such a space. And I've known this for a while, and I haven't quite known how to say it. And I want to say it in the Team Hoot stuff, in the pole vault space that I talk in, because I don't really give two shits about Olympians, and I don't give two shits about elite pole vaulters, and I don't really care who's jumping high or how high you've jumped, and I don't care about your medals, like state level. I just don't care. What I really care about, what Team Hoot has, this part is going to get me emotional. The part that really matters to me, what I feel like I'm constantly trying to do in this space, is create the same environment that he created when I was there for those 3 years. It was just a place to play. You felt like everybody on the team cared about everybody else. You felt like he cared about you. Parents were there, and they were all support. It was just like, it almost felt like a big party, a big family where everyone was just there. And I was trying to tell Gary, like, there's stories where I didn't even know who else was competing. I didn't know how to compete in this sport. I just tried to jump the bar until I couldn't jump it anymore. And that was my approach. That was it. It wasn't like I need to beat that guy. And if a guy made it, it didn't matter. It was my turn to try and make it. And that's how I played. That's how I played pole vault. And that's how we coached the event. Maybe you didn't even know how that worked. I didn't know the rules of the sport. My senior year at the state championship meet, I was still just trying to not miss a bar, right? I was just like, I'm just gonna keep jumping until I can't jump anymore. That was the approach. And I missed one bar at the state meet. Well, 3, at the end, but I missed one bar prior to going out. And I tied. Me and this other guy tied. We had the same height. And I thought, oh man, I only missed once. He missed 4 times in the entire competition. I won. Not the case. That just shows how much it didn't matter to me, like the competing part, right? I was always competing with myself, and that changed in college and stuff. And I kind of wish I could go back there. But we'd be at meets, and it was just fun. Like it rained a lot, in junior year, and there were stories of and I just remember, he'd say, on deck, you're on hold, but they'd say in the hole, and that's really what it is. You're in the hole, and this person's up, right? And every time they say in the hole, we'd yell, "It's in the hole," like from Bill Murray, and Caddyshack, and so it turned into, "He's in the hole, he's in the hole, Cinderella boy." Like that stuff was just really fun, back then, and it was just a really beautiful group we had. And I'm always, like I said, I'm always just trying to recreate that space. That space to me is what pole vault is, and when something doesn't align with that, when I have someone kind of attacking me for some video that they don't agree with the way I presented it, or I'm saying I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to put this out there as like, hey, if you like it, cool. If you don't, just leave it alone. And then you get some guy who treats pole vault like a religion, or some motherfucker who's been coaching for 2 years who thinks they know everything. God, I hate those motherfuckers. They just want to attack you and try and get a lot of those. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to create like, hey, here's some tools. If you like them, cool. If not, leave me the fuck alone. Like, I don't care. Don't attack me for me trying to put stuff out there. Because that never happened when in our little space that we had. It was just, hey, we should try this. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? We were always trying things. And I don't know what happened from there. It just, we had a cool relationship, and it just continued on. And it continued on through college, where I'd get texts, hey, I was watching your meet, how'd it go? And I would get like phone calls. When I'd come home, I would help. He would ask if I would come out and work with his kids. And I was like, you're the coach, but I'll come out. And even up until the point he went and coached at a different place, he would go, hey, do you want to come out? And I could never, now that I'm thinking about it, I could never tell if he just wanted me to help coach his kids and get some ideas, or if he wanted to hang out. And I don't do that a lot, but I always just wanted to hang out with him. And I have a feeling now that as enough time has passed that I think he just wanted to hang out with me too, And I know it's got to be true, because he would just call me up to go get lunch sometime. Hey, we should figure out and go get some lunch. And we'd always go to this place in Hastings, where I'm originally from. And then later on, he would come out closer to me, and we would talk about all sorts of shit, just about anything. And what's kind of crazy is I got really into mental health, and he opened up about some of his struggles with it. And we used to joke, because if we had a third attempt bar or something, he would wear out literally the grass next to the pole vault runway walking back and forth. He was a pacer. He was pacing back and forth. Oh my God, did I make the settings right? Does the hand hold good? Where should I put the standards? Or is it in the right place on the runway? What should I tell these people? And he was pacing. And at the time, you're like, look at Haesly. Look what he's doing again. He's pacing again. And then after these talks, you're like, oh, I realized it was anxiety. still kind of funny, but also I think I got a little more compassion for it. A lot more compassion for it. And we would talk about these things, and he didn't want people to know he had cancer. He called it the C word. And then after a while, he found out that when he did talk about it, it allowed other people to talk about their experience with cancer, and they felt more comfortable with it, and they didn't feel as ashamed. And I was like, that's what happened to me when I talked about mental health. And he's like, I still can't talk about mental health yet, but I'll talk about cancer. And it created these groups that he could talk to, and these people he could talk to, and it helped make him feel better. And at these lunches, we would talk about his kids and how much he loved his kids. And he would, this is going to break my heart too, but he would tell me how he wishes he could go back and do things differently. He's like, I was really hard on some of them. And there's moments he wishes he could take back, but at the time he thought he was doing what he thought was best for his kids. Because that's how he was raised, right? My dad had similar stories, and I'm sure I will too. I'll be fucking on my deathbed. I'm like, God damn it, I wish I could go back and be better for you. I think that's a sign of a good parent. I hope so. I know when I'm looking at it in other people it is, but it's hard to see it myself. And so when I was at the hospital looking at him, all these memories started coming up, right? And what kept me there is because Haesly's a planner, his son came up and goes, hey, would you be a pallbearer at my dad's funeral? Oh, that hit me pretty hard. I knew we were close. I didn't know he thought we were that close. And I consider him one of like the closest people in my life. That's why this is pretty heavy for me. But that was. So I stayed about 3 hours there, and I didn't want to leave, but also I didn't want to intrude on the family being there, because some of my own shit I was thinking about with my dad. So to me, it's like he's one of those people in my life. I don't have many of them that are so close, and he created such a space when I was a kid. That allowed me to be seen by him and be myself and kind of play and try and navigate who I was. And he was one of the early people to believe in me. And then he believed in me in college, and then he believed in the book, and he believed in Team Hoot, and he just always was like, it's going to work. You got this. It's going to work. I love what you're doing. How can I help? What keep going. You're impacting a lot of lives, like that kind of stuff. And because of what he did to me in high school, he created such a strong fucking foundation that I'm still talking about pole vault in my 40s, and I don't even pole vault anymore. It created this thing. Without him, this wouldn't exist. And when I get nice emails from people saying either a pole vault video changed their life or a mental health thing changed their life, because without Team Hoot, this owls thing, this podcast wouldn't be here. A lot of these other things wouldn't be here. I think of him and the foundation that he created, that built this on. And so now that he's gone, it feels like that foundation's still strong, but it's a little less. It just feels like it got shook, and everything's kind of fucking shaken. And so I fucking love that. I love this guy. I love him a lot. I've even made a video. He had an HO slot car track in his basement. I thought it was really fucking cool. And I was like, hey, can I make a video about that? So I made a video about that too. And just kind of, I saw the little kid come out in him. Which is all I guess I really wanted to do when I was making videos originally, was just like, I wanted to show the pureness and the core of it. And then people started asking me to make videos to sell their shit. And I don't like doing that so much. But man, I do like making videos that just cut to the core of who somebody is and the essence of a human's life, you know. And I think we got to it a little bit in there. So last thing I did is when I was in there, I grabbed his hand, told him I loved him. I said, I'll see you around, man. That was it. And that was it. That's the last time I saw him. Ugh. And then in a fucking selfish way, you know, I say selfish, but maybe it's not, but this happened with my dad too. It's like I literally had this question of how common is it to feel like garbage when a person you love or you're close to dies. And in my head, I always feel like I'd never gave him enough of my time. That's so hard, right? It's like there's this regret where you're like, I should have given him more time. And then like, you're shitting all over yourself. And I've been doing that too. And then I'm like, but also I value my independence and my alone time. I need that to survive. And I guess I just wrestle with that all the time. It's like it's like he asked to hang out in October. I had a thing with my buddy Sam where I wasn't here, and I said we'd get back and get to it, you know. And then when I got a hold of him, he was wrestling with some cancer stuff. Then December, January, it just all rolled around, and I'm just like, why didn't I fucking call him? It's just like, it's this weird regret. I can't shake it, you know? And I shouldn't use Chat GPT to figure this out. And then they asked me a question, like the guilt, they kept saying guilt shows I cared. Didn't really make me feel better. But they asked a question, like, here's a question you don't, and they told me I don't have to answer it out loud, but if you're sitting across from the room now, what would you say? You didn't give me enough time, or I knew you loved me? And most of the time it says the answer, surprises. But the powerful thing that it wrote, when somebody dies, it confronts us with the fact that love is finite in expression, but infinite in the amount of time. Wait, let me say that again. When love dies, it confronts us with the fact that love is finite in expression, but infinite in feeling. Love is finite in expression, but infinite in feeling. No amount of time will ever feel like enough. Even if you had doubled it, your brain would always say, why not more? To me, that's a little powerful because I talk about chasing infinities, and I'm like, is this kind of what I'm doing? You can't go back and change it. Just because he's gone doesn't mean I don't love him. Just wish I could express it more, you know. I wish it. Here's where I got to. I literally wrote down that the heaviness for me, like in a perfect world, and this is so frustrating to me as a human. There's a lot of people who want time with me, and I want to give them time, but I only have so much. It's very frustrating. I've got my kids, I got my wife, I've got brothers, I've got people like Haesly, I've got friends, and everybody's like wants some time with me, which is beautiful. I absolutely appreciate it, but I'm fucking human, and I don't have any more time. And if I was, and if I could control it, and I could give everybody all of the time, and I could bend space and time and do that, I would fucking spend time with that. If I could multiply different pieces of me, I would do that. But I fucking can't. And that's this frustrating human part about being alive, is you can't do that. You're stuck with these shitty choices. And I wrestle with this with my dad, and I know I've mentioned it in here, but I had to make a choice at one point where it was like, go see my dad in the hospital. Don't know how bad it is. He says everything's fine. Or stay with my kid who needs me in this moment because her mom's at work and we don't have a babysitter or anyone close to watch her right now. And I didn't want to drag her into the hospital. So you're like, what do you do? So I chose my daughter. And the only thing that makes me feel even a little bit okay about that decision is that my dad would have done the same thing. He would have put his kids ahead of anybody else. Again, if I could bend space, time, I fucking would have done both. I do not want to make that choice. And I wrestle with that constantly. That one's eating me up. It's still eating me up. And that hurts a lot. And I also constantly wonder if when you die, I don't know what happens. But from a young age, I used to think that maybe when you die, you get to see inside of everybody's core essence of who they are. All the humanness goes away, and whatever's left, if there is anything left, gets to see what's inside of these fleshy, bags of blood and bones and guts. And they get to see your mind and your intentions and how it works. And the AI asked if that felt heavy or light, and I was like, for me, it's so light. It's so light. If I use my dad's example, if he can go inside and see that I really wanted to be there and go see him, but I couldn't. I chose my daughter. He could see that. Oh man, without these human limitations, I'm a good person, I guess. I feel more understood. And to me, that's powerful, I guess. I don't know. I just keep getting to, like, when I was going through this thing, and I'm sorry if you just are listening to me kind of read and remember what I said, but I think as a kid, I know this as a kid, I was wildly misunderstood by teachers and my parents young. So I'm constantly trying to just feel understood by people. And maybe that's why I do this podcast, just to get it all out. And if people listen, if they want to even know anything about me, my kids down the road, they can listen to enough of them and kind of get a sense of who I really am and the type of person I am. Instead of one situation where I didn't go see you, even if I wanted to. Maybe I needed to recharge. Maybe it's like my dad's example where I needed to spend time with my daughter. So I guess that's kind of what it helped me learn about myself again, is I kept trying to figure this out, and it's like most of the time, maybe this is because I'm online a lot too, and people see just a small piece. And maybe it's a small piece of just something you put out. And maybe that day you just were making fart jokes and people think you're a silly fuck, Which, there's part of me that is a silly fuck. That's not all of who I am. I think I talk about a lot of dark, not even just dark, but deep stuff in here. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about stuff like this. And when I do, and if you only saw the dark stuff, you're like, man, that guy is too serious and too abstract about stuff. And then I go make a video about my son before he's born, right? Like I did his gender reveal by putting a smiley face on a dildo. Like there's just so many parts of me that I don't feel like people see. And I know not everyone, even my wife doesn't see all the pieces. My kids don't see all the pieces. You don't see all the pieces. And because I think I was so misunderstood as a kid, when somebody dies, especially somebody close, part of that regret stuff, you just want them to know how much you really loved them and how much they cared about you, even if you weren't able to tell them in the right way. Maybe that's why I make videos, because I can create feelings. That's essentially what a video is, right? You're just creating feelings. And if I'm educating, that's a different type of video. I don't really enjoy making those as much. I like taking what's in me and trying to hear some sort of art, but man, I guess this whole thing again, I lost another really close person. I'm in the fucking shit gets real years. It sucks. I don't enjoy it. Within the past 2 years, my dad died, my grandma died, my uncle died, my one of my other really, really, really close friends almost died with a widowmaker heart attack situation thing happening. And it sucks. These safety nets just kind of... And I'm not very good at making friends. So adding more people in there is tough, but... I'm happy I got to see him one more time. I really am. With that, I guess I got a message from my niece on one of my videos last week. It said, "Hey, no pressure. Not trying to force you to do anything." But she's 10, by the way, and it kind of blows my mind she's listening to these, because I don't know how I feel about that. She goes, if you, I'm not trying to pressure you, but I think you should make more videos about me, my sister, Amelia, and Luke, and your family. And so, those are the type of videos I really want to make again. I think I would feel better, even though these feel like therapy, and I appreciate you guys listening, even though I think they're primarily for my kids down the road. Maybe I'll die, maybe they'll have somebody die, and this will help in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Maybe it'll be downloaded into the computer by that point, and life will be weird. I'll be a robot. They'll just make me a dog, a little robot dog. They'll keep me in a kennel. It'll be weird. But I'll be able to talk about quantum physics and weird shit anyways. And it's like, what the fuck is that dog talking about? Oh, it's been a week, and both my kids are sick, so I am going to go. I appreciate you listening to this again. I don't know what happens when you die. All I know is that the love I still have for my dad, Haesly, still there. That's still very much alive within me. It doesn't die just because the person you loved has died. Life's meant to be experienced, and curiosity will get you there.